Hello everyone and welcome to another iACast special. I'm back today. I'm Michael Dowies and I have some folks with me today. This is another live podcast from ACB24. We have Taylor Arndt back with us. Hi Taylor.
Hi Michael.
And we have Jeff Bishop with us.
Hi
Jeff.
everybody.
Yes, we have Jeff here. There's been a lot of discussion about our conversation regarding Glide and WeWalk on mailing lists and different things. So, Jeff, I wanted to get your thoughts on these devices. And do you think, especially Glide, do you think this is going to be around in late 2025, like they're saying? Or what's your thoughts based on the demo?
I think there will be something out next year because I think they're going to really push really hard to do that. I think this is a product that I personally will probably just keep an eye on for right now. As a guide dog user, I don't know that I wouldn't use it as much because it really requires both hands to utilize it. I did 2 demos with them today. And I also think that it's going to require a bit of work in trying to figure out how to travel with it.
That's very interesting because when I did my demo, I only used one hand, but they said that you use one hand once you get the hang of how it steers. But
See, I don't know that I would do that though.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I feel like they're telling different people different things with this product. Because
they told me that I was not following it well.
Right.
Me too.
And I don't know. I feel like I was, but I mean, I definitely believe them, but I don't know. I think this is something that, first of all, I think it's priced right. I think for some people it's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely a set of users that I think will utilize this technology, especially people, for example, who need to be guided, for example, in hotels or getting around in a specific building. When I worked at Microsoft, there used to be these robots that would run around in one of the research buildings.
Oh, wow.
And you could ask it where things were and it would guide you to the room where something was.
Oh, wow.
And I think that for something like that, especially, if you're blind and you're checking into a hotel, and a lot of times what will happen is they'll, send, like a bus person with you.
Right.
Right. And they'll take your luggage up to your room and all that, and they'll help you get up to your room. I could see where eventually, this probably is not going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years, but I think eventually they might market this to hotels where they could say, hey, we're going to get you, Robbie the robot, whatever they're going to call the thing. And, you can put your luggage on the top and then you can just hold on to these two, hold on to it and it will guide you to your room. I think that's a possibility. And I think for certain people, it will be very helpful as well for travel. Do I think it will replace a cane or do I think it will replace a guide dog? No.
Yeah.
I think that there's a certain group of people that this is definitely going to help, especially as we see more and more people becoming blind due to diabetes and other things. I think there's definitely a market for this, and I can be convinced, in a year or two to see where this ends up going. But right now, I don't know that I would say take this to work every day, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know Amos really, really well, and I wish him nothing but the best with this thing because I think there is definitely a market for it, and he's pricing it really reasonably.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Well, and I think if it does what they want it to do, like what they're showing off with their controlled demo, like with the iPad and the tablet,
right. Yeah.
if it can do
that, yeah,
then that's golden. That would be the ultimate goal of this thing. And I would even consider buying.
I don't know that the second demo that they did where it was a little more rough,
shaky, as they call the device.
Yeah, I think that's more of a prototype, and I think they're trying to figure out what that is.
Right.
So we'll see. It's almost like all of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about AI a lot, and we talk about the future of where that's going. And honestly, we don't even know that.
Right.
So, we're just pontificating here about what we think the future will be. So I think all of us should, no matter if we buy it or not, let's all just keep our eyes wide open and keep our minds wide open on it and see where we go. Because you just never know.
And everything needs early adopters. And if it's something you're very passionate about, go for it.
Yep.
Go for it because
it's not that expensive, honestly.
But I've heard there's a subscription.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about that when I was meeting with Amos. But yeah, I think there is. And that makes sense. If they're maintaining maps and maintaining service directories and maintaining all this other, data structure.
Yeah.
I think that makes
I do think, though, that if they do a subscription, it needs to be a Glide Plus. Because if you're paying that kind of money for the device, and if it becomes a paperweight if you don't have a subscription, that's a little bit of an issue.
I don't know. I don't even have a problem with it.
Really?
Yeah. Because of what the device is, I think it's going to heavily rely on AI and rely on technology to help drive the device, right? So I think it's going to have to be connected in some way. And so how do you do that? Do you get a cell phone plan for it? And do you add it to your T-Mobile account or your Verizon account? I don't know. I mean these are questions that I don't know.
You do that with the Rabbit R1, and of course the Meta glasses are free. Right. No subscription for that.
Now, see, I think the Meta glasses are an example of a company pricing a product very reasonable. I'm very bullish on them.
Yes,
we'll see. We'll see,
and we'll see what Ira does, like we talked about on the last podcast. And
it's exciting.
Techopolis, my company, has some plans for them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this really means if they truly are opening the API and what that means.
And Taylor's done some research into this.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be doing some research into this tonight because I want to get more details. But apparently people can create apps for these things. And, I love my app that I just created that's in early beta. So Perspective AI Vision, where you can literally see all the text around you and read signs. That's actually how I navigated the exhibit hall when Meta didn't work and didn't read stuff. And it read all the booths that I was looking at. And if I can bring this app to Meta, it will be a game changer.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. And I've already outlined ways that can work, since they are saying you can open up the camera APIs and all those things, and you can have background audio with the iPhone. So
wow,
yeah, there's definitely ways where this can be a thing.
And there's a software developer kit that I could probably integrate with.
Yep. So that's really neat. And Jeff, real quick about the WeWalk, what were your thoughts on that?
Now, I did not try that as a demo. I looked at the cane, and I will say that the cane compared to the older version definitely looks more like a cane now. I think it's a more durable product. Now, would I buy one of these? Well, they're $850 list, right?
Right.
Yes, they are.
So I have in my hand one of these ID canes. and I only mention that because I'm just thinking about, if I bought an $850 cane and I went out for a walk one day and I crossed the street and some crazy person comes down the street, driving like a crazy person and runs over my $850 cane and breaks it, they're not going to replace that.
Well,
so
the one thing I will mention with that, though, is the handle is what's $850.
No, but the problem is that if your cane gets run over and it flies out of your hand, and the car keeps going,
and you can't get it back,
and they roll over it with their car. I mean, I don't know. I think there is a group of people who I think this device will be interesting for.
Right.
I'm not one of them. I'm not interested in taking a risk.
Right.
I beat up canes as it is.
Yep.
And if I were to buy $850 cane,
what's the safety implications of that? Because it does have a lithium battery in it. What happens when a car rolls right over that battery?
Well, and what happens with the heat when you're out in Arizona when it's 115 degrees out and the battery gets hot because the sun's shining on it?
Right.
I don't know. These are questions I have, but I will just tell people right now, I have not bought anything at this convention.
I
have not bought anything yet.
I bought a tote bag from Blind Girl Designs.
I got given a tote bag from Glidance.
Oh, fantastic.
Fantastic. I was too. I actually was the one that bought the most stuff here.
Yeah, Taylor.
You got a computer, right?
Yeah, Taylor got a computer from.
And what else did you buy, Taylor?
I bought a Bits tote bag from Blind Girl Designs.
Nice.
I also bought a purse because my purse busted.
Okay.
So from
Guidelights and Gadgets, and we're going to talk about them in just a minute. So.
Okay.
And what else, Taylor?
Oh gosh, probably more stuff, and I'll think about it later.
And the computer, and we got the Sony Link Buds with the.
Did you get yours paired?
I have not tried.
Okay. And some people are having issues getting them paired.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, they did come dead. They came completely
Yeah,
dead. in the
okay. So
package.
maybe she didn't charge her.
Yeah.
Interesting. We're talking about Debbie Hazelton, by the way.
Ah,
Oh, okay.
and we want to have Debbie back on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd
because
be great.
Debbie's fantastic.
So let's talk about the other elephant in the room, because I think this one is really interesting. And again, I know I'm waffling on this because I think all of these devices have a specific need and a specific use case. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I personally would not own one over the other. Well, I will say that. But in other words, I'm not going to tell people that they shouldn't buy one over the others.
Right.
Saying.
Right.
So I saw the BT Speak. This is the Blazy Engineering product. I saw that a few months ago. A friend of mine who lives in Colorado bought one, and she bought it with her when she came to Arizona, and she showed it to me. And first of all, I thought the keyboard was really loud, and I thought the speakers on it were, at least for my hearing, and I don't have the best ears. And in fact, my wife will tell you I don't have the best ear. I find that device difficult to listen to on its speakers. Now, I know I can, use Bluetooth and I can do that. I understand that. But if you're just wanting to pick it up and sit on the couch and do something with it or whatever, right? Like, you want to be able to hear it, right? And you want to be able to enjoy its sound, right?
Now, as I understand it, it has stereo speakers, but it's using eSpeak. Is that the speech synthesizer?
Yeah, but I think you can get other voices for it. Now, to be fair, and it has Depth Talk. So to be fair, I wouldn't have a problem with the Depth Talk voice. I think it's more about the way that the speech is coming out of the speaker for me. That really I don't like. And I don't like the keyboard. It's loud. It's clicky.
But one of the things that I felt was interesting is the case. It's a kind of a thick case. It reminds me of the cases that you can buy for the Raspberry Pi. And
it's heavy too.
Yeah. And there
for
was
what it is, it's heavy.
And there's a reason it's made with a similar board to the Raspberry Pi. It's
Interesting.
CM board or whatever the name is.
And I think it's heavy because of the battery that's in it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And it takes up it's a lot of space, and you're not running a mobile operating system. You're running full Linux on there.
Right.
And
which I think there's a security risk here, right? I mean, they give you a lot of power. And I'm a little bit afraid. I mean, I'm not afraid of myself, because if I screw it up, that's my fault, right? I mean, if I'm an idiot, then so be it, right? It's fine. I'll send it back or whatever. But the fact that you can get to, get into root on this thing and do anything you want with it.
Yeah.
A little frightening. I understand the hacker mentality of this, right? It's a cool hacking tool. But is that really, I mean, I don't know.
The general user.
I should be careful, because they may have locked that down, or they may have done something to make that easier to protect. I don't know. That's possible. And I'm not trying to bash it. Okay. It's just not one that I think I would invest $1,200 in right now, personally. Right?
I look at the BT Speak as a maker device.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of a maker device.
Yeah. And now, in 5 years, maybe, or 3 years from now, maybe, we'll see. All of these things are subject to change.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen.
But as they are now.
Right. As they are right now.
I don't see it as a general consumer device. I see it as a
it's a maker device.
It's a hobbyist. It's a
yes, exactly.
A nostalgia.
It's not a productivity device.
It's a nostalgia machine.
Yeah, it's not.
Let's call it a nostalgia machine.
I would not tell a brand new university student to go get this device and make it part of their tool.
Now
maybe later, maybe in a year or two, but I don't know.
The other device,
I could be wrong.
The other device out there, the OrbitSpeak, I got to see from Barry from Guidelights and Gadgets.
Now, I saw it at Orbit.
You did.
Yes, and I saw all their other stuff too. And now I think their braille is very loud.
Very loud.
And that's a limiting factor.
But the braille, the OrbitSpeak does not have braille.
Right. And its speaker is much more crisp, in my opinion.
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Taylor?
I definitely agree. And I mean, once you mention the braille, I'll talk about that later, but I definitely agree about the speaker, because I was able to understand it.
Yeah, even in the exhibit hall.
One of the things that I like is it has vocalizer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Google TTS. Yeah.
And they're adding more voices to it eventually. Yeah. They didn't tell me which ones.
But one of the things that I liked about the design of this device is it is a much sturdier product.
Yes, it's built with a lot. It feels like a much higher quality.
But it's smaller.
Well, okay. So I said, this is about the size of the Orbit Writer. And he goes, oh, well, here. And he handed me an Orbit Writer, and I put the two side by side. And the OrbitSpeak is just a little bit thicker. Just a little bit.
Really?
Not too much. yeah, so it's about the same. So we'll see, right? Now the thing about, to be fair about this device, not all of the features are coming on it right away. So when you purchase a Plus model, you get all of the basic features, and then over the next few months, apparently they're going to roll out additional features.
Does the Plus model look different from the basic?
No, it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same model.
Mhm.
It's the same hardware. The Plus features are just in the software.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. And
it's Android, right?
It is Android.
it
yes.
is Android. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. So
I like that a lot.
It
there's
is
going to be a
locked down.
podcatcher, and yeah. So I don't
It's
know.
locked
See?
down, and just the design was very nice. I'm trying to remember, there was something that I was thinking about it, but it has very nice buttons. The keyboard,
Yes,
is
it's very nice.
good key travel.
Well, it feels like the Orbit Rider key.
See, I haven't seen the Orbit Ride.
Yeah.
So
Well, you should go down there tomorrow. They're there.
I should.
I'm gonna probably go see that tomorrow because I spent
Go there
really
tomorrow.
a good like 15-20 minutes at that booth because I was checking out a bunch of stuff, and man, they had a lot then.
They have a multi-line Braille display,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
the Slate,
Yep.
and that looks really interesting. And I love the form factor of it.
Mhm.
I mean, built really, really nice.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
They showed us the new Graffiti Plus,
Yep.
which is using new technology, and you can actually touch it while it's refreshing and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's cool. They showed the Optima. Is it Optima?
I want to see that. I've seen
the
a
laptop?
prototype, the framework-based laptop.
Mhm, mhm. Let's see what else. The QWERTY.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a. Now I think that the Mantis feels more sturdy to me
Mm-hmm.
than this does. Now this could just be. I mean, honestly, I've had a Mantis a lot longer, so maybe I'm being biased, and I could be wrong. So I don't want this to come across like I'm being judgmental against it, because I mean, I haven't had it in my hand for a really long. I mean, I only touched it at the table,
Yeah.
But I mean, the keyboard looked not. I mean, it would be usable.
It would be.
But the Braille again is loud,
Mm-hmm.
It's
and I think that's going to be the limiting factor, especially if you're a podcaster or you're doing something engineering wise, in a studio,
Mm-hmm.
or you're in an office, and you have other people in the same office.
Right.
That's a problem. Now the laptop, they're going to use piezo cells. They're going to offer
There's
that
the
as well.
choice. Yeah, there's the
Mhm.
choice.
Yep, there's a choice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I think there's just some really fascinating technology out there. And
There is.
I think
There is.
I think the future is bright. I think all of us just need to sit back and watch.
Well, it's one of those things that
We'll see.
you need to figure out what's the best option for you.
Yep.
And that's why competition's a good thing.
Yes,
too.
it is.
I always tell people, I like Android. I like what they've done. It's useful for the people that like Android. I'm an Apple fan.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
And it needs to be okay. We need to be okay with people using different things. And, we're starting to see technology change and operate with each other and things like that.
Yep.
And I feel like we're going to be going in a more integrated world. And the other thing I'll say about Orbit, I will give them credit. So I have neuropathy in my hands. It's pretty severe neuropathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But that Braille probably is something you could read, right?
well, yeah, I'm going to get to that in a second. So the Braille, as it is very hard Braille or
Yeah, it's very sharp.
and that actually hurts my fingers. So like
Mm.
because there's nerve
Can
damage.
they turn that down?
Actually,
Did you
they
ask them?
can. The other thing that they have is they have actually jumbo Braille. Now, this is my first
Did they show that to you?
jumbo Braille. They actually did.
That's cool. I didn't know it could do that. Wow.
Yes, and the only thing I don't like about the Graffiti is the price tag.
Yeah, it's like
and the Braille
$15,000,
refresh
right?
rate. Yeah, Braille refresh rate is a little loud. Now, I'm wondering. I just thought about this now, so this could be out of the ordinary.
Can the Graffiti do Braille though? Because I think I don't know that it has the dot precision.
I don't know. It did Braille.
That's interesting.
It did Braille for them.
It did?
It did Braille for me.
Okay.
But
okay.
what I'm wondering is, can you plug headphones into the Graffiti and have the Braille refresh sounds go through there? Again, this is just something
I don't know.
No.
I don't
wildly
know.
crazy.
I
So.
don't know.
No, you can noise cancel.
HDMI. The Graffiti plugs into HDMI, and then you can send it
Mhm.
images.
If we could noise cancel the refresh rate, that'd be...
No, I don't think you can do.
No.
Again, this was a crazy idea I had, so
Well, I mean, look, I think regardless of all the technology we've talked about this evening, I think all of it is something we all need to keep an eye on
Yes.
and see where it's going. I think that there's a place for all of it. It all depends on what you want out of the technology and what is best suited for you. And everybody has to make their own choice on what is right for them. So I think, it's a great time to be blind. Many people have said that, and it's true. I mean, we have more access to things than we've ever had before. Competition is amazingly great.
And it's heating up.
And I think we're living in a world right now where, who knows where we're going to end up in 5 years.
Right.
I was speaking with Freedom Scientific about this, and I said, I think we can all sit here and pontificate our navels about what the future of AI is and what the future of Windows is or what the future of whatever is. But honestly, none of us are going to know what 10 years is going to look like down the road. None.
But that's amazing.
Right?
Like,
so that's a wonderful thing.
And the one thing I want to always say on this podcast, we're not going to tell you where it's going to be. We like to speculate and just say, here's what we'd love to see in the next 10 years.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, one of the things I strongly think is that AI will drive the next evolution of assistive technology.
Mm-hmm.
What that even means and where we're going and who's going to invent that and what that's going to look like so that we're productive and efficient and all of those wonderful things, I have no clue. And I think it's going to take brilliant people. And I think it's an industry discussion that we should be having to make sure that we're adapting our assistive technology for the future and what that looks like and what that communication strategy is. I think we all need to be having open conversations and have very frank discussions about what the future is. Guys, we don't even know what the next year is going to be, though,
Right.
let alone the next 5 years.
And that's amazing.
It is very amazing.
Because for the longest time, we knew where technology was going.
Yep.
Yes,
we don't
we
need
did.
more.
We knew where things were in the industry. We don't now.
No.
It is all
We
an
do not.
open-ended,
Nope.
mass of tech.
Not at all.
So we're in a good place, folks.
We are.
Yep.
And
It's just going to keep getting better.
and we're all here for it. All three of us and everybody else on the podcast. So
keep your feet firmly planted on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
exactly.
And just, hang on tight because we're all living in a world right now where, we're on this ride together and let's see where the journey takes us.
Yep. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being here again on the podcast. And we want to start things up a bit more regularly when we get back from convention.
Yay.
So thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Taylor, for being here. This is Michael.
Pleasure.
This is Michael, and we're going to see you probably tomorrow for another podcast with more topics from convention.
I'll come down.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you so much for being on this episode of iACast, and we'll see you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the iACast. We hope you enjoyed the show and found the conversation to be insightful and informative. If you have any feedback or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email at feedback@iacast.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at iACast Network to stay informed about new episodes and other updates. Don't forget to check out more great podcasts on the iACast Network, iacast.net. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.